Hi, everyone, and welcome to Crime in Court. So, I had a whole another, I should say, first, this is the Menendez brothers. We have already gone through the trial on my channel, and I have a couple episodes. This is actually what I was going to say was that I had a different episode that was planned for today, but unfortunately, my OBS system, which I use to record, just decided to up and change its settings and for some reason forgot that I have a mic. Oh, it didn't record me. So I have to re-record the episode that I had for you, but I will get to that. But we have some breaking news because, as you can see from the thumbnail, it says Governor Newsom speaks out on clemency. So, of course, this is the Menendez brothers trial, and we're going to continue following their case as we go as their case proceeds. There's still things happening in it, obviously. So first up, I want to go over with you. This is going to be probably a short video, but I just wanted to let you know this is breaking news as of yesterday afternoon, late in the evening. Governor Newsom came out and basically said, according to this TMZ exclusive interview, um, or exclusive article, Menendez brothers, Governor Newsom to DA, the ball's in your court. So, California Governor Gavin Newsom has kicked the can down the road in the direction of the new LA County District Attorney regarding Erik and Lyle. So, we've watched in previous episodes or previous streams of the trial, we've watched press conferences with the former LA District Attorney George Gascon. He did not get reelected. Unfortunately, he lost his election. He lost it to this guy here, who is Nathan Hochman, who you can see on the screen. So he is the incoming DA, and he promises to, he's already come out and said that he promises to look this over, blah, 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 blah. He actually, from what I've kind of heard, he's not really into like being lenient on prisoners. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be in a good way how it's going, at least with Nathan Hochman. The governor has said we're going to hold off on clemency. So let's read his statement here. He says, this was a new, just released from the Newsom office. The governor respects the role of the district attorney in ensuring justice is served and recognizes that voters have entrusted District Attorney elect Hochman to carry out this responsibility. The governor will defer to the DA elect's review and analysis of the Menendez case prior to making any clemency decisions. As reported by TMZ, the outgoing DA, George Gascon, has supported resentencing. So he supported resentencing Eric and Lyle, the former DA, and was in favor of their release. The newly elected DA, Nathan Hochman, has said he won't weigh in on how he wants to proceed until he fully reviews the case. A hearing is set for December 11th for the judge to hear arguments on whether to resentence the brothers. However, Nathan Hochman comes into office December 8th. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence that he is going to be ready in time for this hearing. Um, Perhaps he goes and, they just kick the can down the road again to another hearing, but it seems like he's probably not going to be able to get caught up on this case, especially, I mean, he could at this point, have watched the trial. Hopefully, maybe he did research on his own and has started that process so that when he does come into office, he can make this a priority because he has said that he believes that the families deserve an answer. So he does want to be kind of expeditious in his decision, but he does want to give it the full weight, is what he's come out and said. So basically, there's that. Um, if they are resentenced, it would trigger a parole board hearing that could set them free. TMZ broke the story that Erik and Lyle's lawyer, Mark Garagos, will ask the judge to change their conviction from the homicide charge to a manslaughter charge, which would then make them immediately eligible for release because they have already served 3 times the maximum sentence for manslaughter that they would have been, and then they would be immediately free. So, that is important to note because there's other options still. That's on the table. Mark Garagos is going to ask the judge to change that. Um, we also have the governor hasn't said no specifically. He's just saying he's going to wait and let Hockman come into office and review the case. So I get that. I get that, he's saying that, but at least, he hasn't said anything specifically like this. Okay, so as for Newsom, it's unclear if he'll wait for the judge to make a decision before he weighs in on clemency. So that's the option still there. But given that the case has become a real hot potato, we're guessing Newsom's gonna wait until the gavel goes down. So there you have it. I don't know what that is. Some other TMZ story. All right. So I wanted to play you just a couple news clips. This one basically, whoops, reiterating what I just read. So here, let's oh, it helps if I unmute it. All right, here we go.
Thank you, Kevin. We have breaking news now in the murder case of brothers Erik and Lyle Menendez. We've learned Governor Gavin Newsom plans to hold off on deciding whether to offer clemency to the Menendez brothers. They're currently serving life sentences for the 1989 murders of their parent in the family's Beverly Hills mansion. A statement from the governor's office says that he, quote, respects the role of the district attorney in ensuring justice is served and recognizes that voters have entrusted District Attorney-elect Nathan Hockman to carry out this responsibility. The governor will defer to the DA-elect's review and analysis of the Menendez case prior to making any clemency decision, end quote. Last week, DA-elect Hockman said that he planned to thoroughly review facts and law in the case once he takes office December 3rd. New questions arose after a Netflix documentary pointed to possible sex abuse by the brothers' father, Jose Menendez. And the current district attorney recommended resentencing before he lost the November election. Hey, Central California.
All right, that's it for that one. So basically, reiterating the same thing that we just read. This one I thought was interesting because this actually came out on the Today channel, on the Today TV channel, but they have a YouTube channel. And this came out 4 days ago. And basically, well, here, just give it a listen. I thought it was interesting.
This morning, new details in the Menendez brothers' bid for freedom. A new legal filing revealing Erik and Lyle's attorneys will turn to prison employees to make the case they should be resentenced and released.
Well, those captions are so delayed. Let me try turning them off and turning them on again. That's
coming as the incoming Los Angeles district attorney is preparing to make his own.
It doesn't seem to have helped. All right, let's start over and I'll turn the captions off because that was very distracting. Here we go.
This morning, new details in the Menendez brothers' bid for freedom. A new legal filing revealing Erik and Lyle's attorneys will turn to prison employees to make the case they should be resentenced and released. This coming as the incoming Los Angeles district.
They're asking prison staff who have, seen how good of an inmate or of inmates that the brothers are. People will, speak on their behalf, kind of give be a character witness for the brothers to say why they should be released.
Attorney is preparing to make his own recommendation on the case, criticizing those who have formed an opinion based on the Netflix series about the murders.
I know for a fact none of these people have actually done the hard work to put themselves in a position to thoroughly understand all the facts involved in a resentencing.
I just wanted it to stop.
The show recently propelling Erik and Lyle's story back into the public zeitgeist, 35 years after they murdered their parents, Jose and Kitty, in their Beverly Hills mansion. The brothers, who argue they acted in self-defense after years of sexual abuse by their father, gaining sympathy from celebrities and true crime TikTokers, joining several of the Menendez family members who want them released.
Together we can make sure that Erik and Lyle receive the justice they deserve and finally come home.
The new filing includes personal statements from both brothers outlining how prison has changed them. Correctional officers also writing in support, with one describing how Erik constantly conducts welfare checks on fellow inmates. Another officer writing they strongly urge the resentencing of Lyle Menendez, who wrote in his letter that he now works to help survivors of sexual abuse.
Do you believe that the Menendez brothers were sexually abused?
Again, I have not done the thorough review, and I'm not going to base my review, and though I haven't seen it, on some Netflix documentary or limited series, as many people have.
The DA-elect saying he will also review arguments against their release, like those made by the original prosecutor who spoke out to Dateline.
If you use
Oh my God, she has not. Okay, Pam Bozanich, we've seen her throughout the trial. Is still advocating that they should be locked up, kept away, off the streets. They're monsters. They're horrible. Like she also has she becomes so offended with the fact that, they went back, reloaded, and then, went back into the room and shot Kitty. Like that part particularly offends her for some reason, and I think she's got a real big grudge about that. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but for that reason, she's like, they're the most horrific monsters ever. Like, she completely disregards the maltreatment that was going on in that house to this day. It's undisputed. They didn't even put on any experts to dispute it, ever. So it's undisputed that it happened. There's new evidence that it did happen. And I mean, more additional corroborating evidence that, we didn't have at trial, but we had plenty at trial as well. So for people to still say today that the boys weren't maltreated, and the things that, they say happened didn't happen, they're just making it up to get themselves out of prison. One, you can't make up that emotion on the stand. And two, why would you? I mean, especially something, it wasn't talked about in the 90s, in the 80s. We didn't talk about that kind of thing. So it was very taboo. So why would you talk about it unless it wasn't true? It just doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't put yourself in that situation. Anyways, all right. So moving on, let's continue with okay, so Hockman's going to weigh what Pam Bozanich has to say about the brothers, which I find awful, but let's see.
By the original prosecutor who spoke out to Dateline.
If you use rational thought on this case, they should stay in prison for life without parole. If you use emotion, then, oh my God, why are they still there today? Let them out tomorrow.
What do you say to those who say, wait a second, there's a lot of people who have maybe committed heinous crimes that are then rehabilitated decades later?
And that's exactly the point. Menendezes get no special treatment. They will get equal treatment.
So, Liz, if the DA does come out formally against resentencing, and then what happens? What's next?
Yeah, well, Hoda, either way, a hearing is still going to happen. The new DA can't stop that. But he can make it more difficult by filing additional material and evidence to the court supporting his recommendation. Now, ultimately, it will come down to a judge, followed by the parole board. And then, if he decides to weigh in, the governor to make the final decision. And remember, at any time now, the governor can also grant clemency and get them released. Hoda.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day.
Okay. So that's that clip. And then finally, this is the last clip I have for you. There's some new audio. This actually came out about a month ago. They played it on Good Morning America. I just never heard it. So this is some new audio of the boys of the Menendez brothers. So here we have it.
Now to the Menendez brothers case, we're hearing new audio of them speaking from behind bars as the Los Angeles District Attorney says he'll review new evidence while considering resentencing the brothers. Dan Abrams is standing by after this report from Kana Whitworth. Good morning, Kana.
Yes, George, good morning to you. So now in their 50s, Erik and Lyle Menendez are featured in a new Netflix documentary reflecting on the trial that put them behind bars for life with no possibility of parole.
I remember when the verdict came down, it was first degree. It was so daunting that I was in shock.
For the first time in 30 years, Lyle and Erik Menendez is speaking out amid renewed interest in the infamous murder case that captured the world's attention.
I went to the only person that had ever helped me, that had ever protected me. And then ultimately this happened. He was arrested because of me. I wanted to die.
Again, I mean, I've brought this up in many times, but they both blame each other for the things that happened to the other one. So Erik blames himself for telling Lyle so that Lyle then got involved and, talked to the dad, and then it all came out and what happened happened. And then Lyle blames himself for not protecting Erik and not being there and not knowing that this was going on and being able to stop it. So on both sides, they both have a lot of guilt. Neither one of them blames the other, but they blame themselves for what the other person's situation is currently being locked away. So, yeah, just there's that.
In a way, I did not protect Lyle.
Audio tapes are part of the Menendez brothers' new Netflix documentary. The siblings who shot and killed their parents in their Beverly Hills home in 1989, opening up about what they said on the witness stand in the historic televised trial. Erik reacting to his brother's testimony.
I remember when he apologized to me on the stand for molesting me. He had never said he was sorry.
The trial making headlines again 3 decades later.
So that was the first time he ever apologized, Lyle, when he apologized to Erik on the stand about taking him into the woods and doing those things. That's the first time he ever verbally said he was sorry to Erik.
Later, as Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon's office evaluates new alleged evidence and public calls for resentencing.
We're not saying that there was anything wrong with the original trial. We have been given.
So this obviously was before the election, so he was still the district attorney at the time when this segment came out, but I just thought it was interesting, the voicemail or voice calls that we have audio of.
Evidence.
Famed defense attorney Mark Garagos claims Erik sent his cousin a letter detailing the abuse 9 months prior to the murders. Garagos also says a member of the popular 80s boy band Menudo, Roy Rosulo, says he too was molested by Erik and Lyle's father in the family home. Adding to a growing
in the Beverly Hills home. He came there. Menudo, the boy band Menudo. I don't know if you're not of my generation, you might not know who they are. So it was a boy band of all Latino young men who a lot of their songs, I believe, were in Spanish. I don't know. They had a few hits that were like mainstream, but I can't remember them at the moment. But anyways, it was a rotating band. As soon as a boy would turn 18, he left the band and they would bring in more younger boys. And who was the record exec? Where's my phone? I can't remember. It might have been Clive Davis, who, if you know who he is, he's been alleged to have been very inappropriate with not all, but with some of his clients, especially minor children. Menudo. How do you spell Menudo? Menudo manager. Oh, some guy named Eduardo Diaz, Puerto Rican music producer and songwriter. But because of, I thought it was Clive Davis, or they all know each other anyways. So they probably, would be in those same circles, Clive Davis and whoever managed Menudo. I know that through RCA Records, Jose Menendez was involved in the Menudo band. I don't know what his exact role was, but obviously he had them at his Beverly Hills mansion, and that is where where the incident, at least, I don't know how many incidents there were, but there is at least one incident that took place with Roy Rosello, who was from Menudo, and he was a minor at the time. There is a documentary on Peacock I think it's called Menendez and Menudo something something. I don't know, but it is a good documentary that goes into a lot of very detailed into the Roy Rossello aspect of it. If you want more on that, so just letting you know.
When call for the alleged abuse the boys suffered at the hands of their own father to be reevaluated, they claim it went on for years and that they feared for their own lives.
It was a culture of silence, and that culture of silence existed.
Look how little and innocent he is. And then you think about what the things that Jose did to him, and it just makes me sick to my stomach. Especially, like, he's so innocent. I mean, I hate perpetrators who do these things because that I can't say on YouTube because I'll get struck. I hate SAers, people who essay children, people who are SAers at all, but especially those who prey on children. And just look at how young and innocent he is there.
Up until the 90s.
Sorry, let me go back.
Call for the alleged abuse the boys suffered at the hands of their own father to be reevaluated. They claim it went on for years and that they feared for their own lives.
It was a culture of silence, and that culture of silence existed up until the 90s, and I think it finally got broken in the 2000s.
Now, prosecutors maintain the brutal murders were motivated by money. The next hearing is November 26th, and the DA says the final decision will be his. Guys.
Okay, Candace, thanks very much.
So, why can't I remember what the 26th is? That might just be a status hearing. Hold on. Let me go to my X page. Because I have pinned here an image, 3 Ways to Freedom, resentencing by Judge Jessic, which is December 11th. That is where we really need the new DA to get caught up to speed in just a few days. So I don't see that happening. The habeas corpus petition, which we are going to read through, and that's going to be coming up in one of the next episodes. So just letting you know my plans for the next few episodes. I did have and had recorded, but I'm going to have to re-record. Basically, like the aftermath, what's happened since they've been incarcerated and found guilty, and what their options are, what they've been doing, that kind of thing. And then the next episode will be about like a where are they now type of episode, and we'll go into like the key players throughout. We're not going to go through obviously all the witnesses, but just some of the key players, especially like the lawyers and the judge, and we'll go through all that. And then finally, we will go through the habeas corpus, which is the petition that is going to be argued here on the 26th in this month. So that's next week, just which I don't believe needs to have, like, there is no reason for the need for a DA, because that's habeas corpus is a Supreme Court. I mean, they'll have someone on their behalf, I'm sure, arguing to keep them in, but trying to think, um, it wouldn't be Gascon, obviously. So I don't know. I don't know who would be arguing to keep them in if Gascon was and still is. He's still the acting DA up until December 8th, I believe. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to affect that hearing date. And then finally, the third possible route to freedom is clemency from Governor Newsom, who hasn't completely ruled it out, but said he's not going to be ruling on it at any time right now. He wants the DA, like I said, to go ahead and review the case. So that's kind of a brief get up to speed. This is where we are now in the case. Hopefully that helped. Plus, with the whole Governor Newsom being a nuisance by not sending them home. The family, we've talked about, the family wants them home for the holidays. And by not granting clemency right now, doesn't look like that's going to happen, at least not for Thanksgiving. However, maybe, possibly. Just everybody keep your fingers crossed. You can. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, which I can't, I don't know where I have it. Hold on one second. I don't think I saved it, so I'm going to have to search. All right, so I couldn't find the tweet that, somebody else had, but I found something just as good. So here is, oh, let me switch over to my other screen there. So these are the addresses to, I'll leave them on the screen. You can pause. Can I make them any bigger? Not really. That doesn't really do it. All right, so I'll read it out to you just in case. So if you want to reach or read to write to Governor Gavin Newsom, his address is 1021 O Street, Suite 9000, Sacramento, California 95814. And then we've got Judge Michael V. Jessic, who will be deciding the resentencing. You can write to him at the Van Nuys Courthouse West, 14400 Irwin Street. That's ERWIN, Irwin Street Mall, Van Nuys, California 91401. So that is one way you can reach them. Again, here are the addresses, and yeah, so that's a little bit bigger. Maybe you guys can see that. So hopefully, get some more traction. Just because Governor Newsom said he's not going to decide right now doesn't mean that you shouldn't write him a letter. Write him a letter, because the more he hears from the public and what the public want, the better. Because, isn't that what politicians do? They do what the public usually they should, side with the majority. So keep it up, write letters. You can write more than one, write one every day, send it out. If you believe in sending these brothers home, because as we've said, they would have, if they had gotten manslaughter, which should have been the charge. Let's be honest, it should have been the charge. One way or another, manslaughter should have been the actual charge. But the second trial, none of the maltreatment came in. So therefore, somehow the jury found them guilty on homicide. Well, I get how they did, because everything was kept out and hidden from them. And that's what they do in trials, to trick jurors to side their way. Anywho, that's where I leave you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button and to write a letter to Governor Newsom or Judge Jessic. And I will keep you guys up to date on what's going on. Also, I will re-record those episodes and get them out for you, and as soon as I can. So thank you guys again for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys later. Bye now.